Alright, welcome to lesson number 7 of learning to code with Unity 3D. Now we've been doing some pretty boring stuff so far, learning a little bit about C# and its language and its syntax, and we've been doing it just by basically console input and output, so we've been printing things out to the console. And what we're going to do now is we're going to work a little bit more on the actual components inside Unity 3D to work out how they are affected by our scripts. I mentioned it before, but when you select any object, you can see all of the components and the scripts that you have. A script is just one of the components, but these scripts are clever because they can access the other parts of the object and do stuff to it. For example, set its position, rotation, and scale. That's found within the transform component. So we're going to just do one, and then I'll probably explain afterwards just exactly how it works. So we're going to access a transform component, and we're going to set the position. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a new object. So if you click on the game object menu, go up to 3D object and select cube. And then if you make sure that this cube is positioned in the center in front of the camera so that you can see it, so you can set the X, the Y and the Z just by typing values in. So make sure it's 0, 0, 0 on the position, the rotation is 0, 0, 0, and so is the scale. Scale is 1, 1, 1, so that it's normal size. Now we're going to make a new script for this object. So if you click on add component, go down to new script, and then choose something useful like cube script. This is a fair enough name for a script that goes on the cube. There's no specific function for it right now, so you'll see cube script has appeared in my assets. If I double click it, I'll be able to open it up within MonoDevelop. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to introduce a new type of variable. What happens, we looked at ints and floats before. Now they're all value types. They're very simple and built into C#. However, even CubeScript is a variable, and the stuff that you create inside C#, the way that things build upon other things, you've got a whole hundreds and thousands of different types of variables. So we're going to introduce one which is made of an X, Y, and Z component. It's used specifically in Unity 3D. It's used a lot inside Unity 3D. It's made up of 3 floating point values, an X, a Y, and a Z, and it's called vector3. So if I define a new variable called vector3, and we're going to call this variable position. So there's its type, vector3, and here's its name, position, and I'm going to define a value for it. Now you'd be great if you could just do this. However, it doesn't like this, and the reason for that is because these are not value types like an int or a float or a string. They're actually reference types. There needs to be an instance of this created. So the nice easiest way to do it is with the new keyword. So if you want to define a new vector3 called position, you actually use a new keyword, and then you just type in vector3, and in the brackets you can define the 3 values. Now I'm just going to make this one I'll make this one 5, so that's 5 in the Y, so that's 5 up, and I'm going to maybe make it 1 to the right, or actually maybe -1, so that's off to the left, and then I'm going to make it maybe 5 further away from the camera. These are floating point values. I could and should probably put an F next to all of them just to be absolutely certain that they are. That gives us a new variable of type vector3. So what we're going to do inside the start is we're going to access the transform component. I'm just going to do it and then I'll explain why. Transform is such a common thing inside Unity. It exists in every single game object, even empty game objects. So there's got a special code word to access this component, and it's a small t transform. So this accesses the transform component of the object this script is attached to. So if we'll go back to the script, our script is here, it's accessing this, and it's going to set these numbers. So here we go. Let's just go to transform, transform dot. You see all of the variables and functions come up. We're looking for position. If we start typing in position, you'll see, and then we're going to say equals position. Now there we go. So this is nice and simple. We're using this variable to set the transform.position. So if we quickly save, go back. So it's currently at 000. When we press play, the start part of the code works, and we'll see that this cube, when it's selected up here, has been set to the values that we defined within the code earlier on within this variable. Vector 3s are so common that it's very good idea to read through and go into the help. Oh, I should show you how to get into the help. Inside help there's a scripting reference, and the other great way of accessing the scripting reference is to go to the actual component, and then off to the right where there's a small book with a question mark on it, and that's the reference. If you click on that, you'll open up the manual in a browser. For some reason mine keeps wanting to come in Edge for some reason, but when it does come in, you'll be faced with the manual for the Unity 3D component that you looked at, and you'll also be able to go to the scripting reference for that particular component. So that's two cool ways to access the help within Unity 3D, so you can start to work out how things work. So next lesson we're going to be working a little bit more on those components, and we're going to start making things move around the scene.